Hey everybody, it's Duckville here. I've thought I'd have a little rant about what's going on with WCS and TI3 and all this stuff that has been causing a little bit of stir in the scene, in the esports scene lately. Um, for because I know I have some Dota 2 viewers and some StarCraft viewers, particularly that come on Twitch. Um, I thought I'd explain what the two sides of this story are right now. So, on the one hand, we have StarCraft 2 with the WCS, the World Championship Series, which has been something that has started up earlier on this year. Blizzard trying to make a little bit more of like a continuous sort of, I guess, like a centralized kind of storyline for some of the StarCraft competitors and players, and of course the viewers themselves. It means that there is always going to be something available to tune into, whether it be live or on VODs and these kinds of things. So there's always something going on, and it for the Dota guys who don't know how it works, it's separated into three seasons: season one, season two, and season three, which then lead into there are big finals at the end of the year at BlizzCon, which is of course happening over in the States, where there's going to be a really big tournament. Should be really good to see a lot of the players that get to go there, and each season has separate regions where the players will be sort of centralized. So you have North America, Europe, and then Korea, which uh, it's sort of weird to figure out, but there's obviously a lot of pretty much Korean players playing in Korea. You have a majority of sort of European. There are a few Americans, a few Koreans over in the EU region, and then you have America, which is mostly Koreans. But um, but no, there are also like a lot of other foreigner players in North America, but generally it seems to be going the way of Korean players, of course, which is a common thread we have throughout the game. But that's okay. Another story, another completely different story. Anyway, and for the SC2 folks who may not know too much about the Dota scene, it's the international, otherwise known as TI3 this year because it is the third one, is a really, really big event. Think of it, if you're from America, or think of it similar to the Super Bowl, a big thing that happens just with TI3. It only happens once a year. For the Europeans, you may not know too much about Super Bowl, but I'm sure most people do. But anyway, just in case, it's a little bit like the World Cup. Massive, massive event where everyone gets together and you have a lot of fun. Seeing some great Dota games. We see some of the best teams there. Last year, the winners were the Chinese team IG, who did a wonderful job there. And this year, at the TI3, there is a $2.6 million prize pool that has been boosted up by the community because Valve has offered out the compendium. The compendium costs around $10, and each $2.50 or something like that from the compendium gets added to the prize pool. It's a really cool concept. I really liked what I saw. There's also all sorts of other jazz that goes with the compendium. But anyway, so the issue that has happened today, or at least today, my time, if you're in the future, it would be a little while back. But the issue is that Blizzard have announced that the WCS, NA, EU, and KR finals, the Korea finals, will be held on the same weekend, sorry, as the international. So it's a really weird situation. A lot of people have gotten stirred up. Of course, the pitchforks are out, and a lot of people are mad. I'm not so much mad about it. I'm very perplexed. It's a situation where TI2 last year, exact same similar sort of time, around August. I think it was actually just at the end of August, if I remember correctly, and had around about 500,000 viewers across all the mediums together for the grand final event. Um, and even some of the earlier finals had massive amounts of viewers as well. Um, and I just totally lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, and it's been known about for a long time. In fact, the exact dates and the location, the same location as last year, the Baranoia Hall or whatever it's called. I can't remember it right now. Has been known for about 4 months. So it's not as if this has been secret knowledge that Gaben has been sitting on and has suddenly popped up out of nowhere and said, the international is going to be on the 10th, the weekend of the 10th, and it's like, well, no, everyone's known about that for quite a while. And even if it wasn't announced like 4 months ago, everyone knows it's always around about the same sort of time. If you know like your general community esports, you know that the international is always on for Dota around about the August or September. So anyway, kind of surprising that we've had this announcement, and Blizzard have sort of said we had a lot of trouble trying to organize this event, trying to make sure that player schedules and all these kinds of factors are brought into account as well. Got to make sure that everyone's in the same place if you're going to be playing in these finals and these sorts of things, because our I believe WCS is in a it is in a LAN setting, so it's not as if they can play from at home or whatever. So that's understandable. It's always good to make sure that you can have your players there, otherwise you don't really have an event. But the fact that it had to be this weekend, it's a little bit odd. Like, the weekend before is Asus ROG over in Finland, and I mean, why can't can the WCS America and Korea events not be held that weekend? I don't think there are too many players, that foreigner players, that are heading over to Asus ROG. Like, I know there are a few. I know Hyun is going to be there, the DreamHack winner, and a couple of other people will be there, but I don't think it's a massive amount. But I don't know, I could be wrong, but it just sort of seems weird that they had to pick this sort of weekend. It's very perplexing. And I mean, even when you consider the fact that despite the the broship between Dota 2 and StarCraft 2, there's a lot of sort of cross-pollination between the two games. It's actually League of Legends that moved their event. Riot moved their LCS. I can't remember which thing it is. It just fell out of my brain right now. But they moved one of their events to the weekend after, because they said, all right, TI3 is on. That's going to get a lot of viewers. For the players that do like Dota 2 and League of Legends, and yes, there are some, don't worry, it's a bit of blasphemy going on, they know they don't want to polarize some of those viewers. And not to mention the simple fact, if there are people that are going to watch Dota 2, that means you're not going to get any viewers on your League of Legends stream, which means that the viewers suffer, which means that the sponsors suffer, all this kind of stuff, and your general hype and your exposure and all this other, general sort of marketing kind of crap that goes on. So even they've moved it, and it just seems kind of weird. I mean, I don't know, maybe a little bit more forward planning for the timing of this kind of thing would have really helped out, so that players could say, if there was, let's just say, for example, that Hyun was in the WCS America finals or something like that, and he's also going to Asus ROG. If he had have known a month ago or something like that, he could have said, well, which one is a little bit more prestigious? All right, it's probably WCS America. I'm going to have to go to that. Sorry, Asus ROG guys. And it's just kind of like, well, I don't know, what happened to some of the forward planning here, but it doesn't matter. Also, for the local folks, Australia and New Zealand, ACL Melbourne will be on as well at the exact same time, the same weekend of the 10th. So if you can add on another screen, another set of eyeballs, get your chameleon eyeballs going on, try and watch some ACL Melbourne as well. I'm going, my general setup at least, because some people have been asking me, what are you going to be doing that weekend? Depending on a couple things, which I haven't really sorted out just yet, but if I was just to be sitting here, I would probably be watching TI3 in-game, in client. For the StarCraft 2 folks who don't know much about Dota, you can actually go into Dota and then go into the game itself, as in be an observer, like an observer in a standard sort of StarCraft setting, and just be watching the game yourself, controlling the camera, looking at the stats yourself, all these kind of stats things that come up, like your production tab and whatever, worker kills, all that kind of junk, but for the Dota version. And you can also hear the commentators through the game. They pipe the commentator voice through the game client, so that if you're in client, you can actually hear what the commentators are also saying. So it's not as if you're just sitting there by yourself, talking to yourself about what's going on. So that's a really cool feature about that. But anyway, I'll probably have the Dota client up, and then Twitch on my other monitor with ACL and WCS. But I mean, that's the thing here, is that it's not just two big events that are happening that weekend, or three if you're here in Australia. It's just the fact that there is going to be so much content. There's going to be hours and hours of content to watch, and last I checked, humans have to sleep at some point. So you're going to miss out somewhere. And even a lot of players, a lot of viewers, even Blizzard have said this at one point, there is a lot of saturation when it comes to content. And I know I know it kind of sounds funny coming from someone like me who makes a lot of YouTube videos and this kind of stuff, but the YouTube videos, I'm not going out there and saying I want to be the next Husky and have everybody watching my stuff. They're just there if you want to watch them. That's cool. But I mean, to have the 3 finals for WCS on the same weekend, viewers get fatigued. The sponsorship will suffer. The viewers themselves will suffer because they might miss some stuff, and it's just a really sort of, as I said, perplexing. I'm not mad about it. I'm not flipping tables or anything like that. It's just kind of like, what's up? Why? And I don't know. Maybe like that's the thing is at WCS. It's the first year we're having this, and I do like that Blizzard has tried to catch up, as it were, with League of Legends and even Dota, I suppose. And I just hope that things do go well. I hope that they do, but I hope that at a minimum we learn from any mistakes that occur, or we just learn in general from what's going to be happening on the weekend of the 10th, because it could be fine. It could be, as a lot of people are saying, like, there's the sky isn't falling. Nothing's going to, esports and StarCraft isn't going to die from this. It's just, it's going to be, wow, it's going to be, geez, take my money but don't hurt me, because it's going to be a really big weekend, right? So, yeah, so as I said, it would be really good if everyone could try and tune into everything, even if you're not a StarCraft watcher. If you're not a Dota watcher or a player or anything, jump on Steam. You can grab Dota for free, and you can watch in client for free. It's a really fun experience, and if anyone wants to ask any questions about it, please feel free to post in the comments. Let me know on Twitter, all this kind of stuff. If you want to know anything about Dota, if you're a Dota fan, jump on and say the same thing. How do I watch some WCS StarCraft on the weekend? If I have time from watching TI3, how do I watch some StarCraft? I'll be happy to help you out. Yeah, other than that, there was one thing that really stuck with me, a comment that really stuck with me in one of the Reddit threads about this whole thing that's going on, is that a comment from a user named Amsterdam, I think it was, and he said, you didn't have to avoid all conflicts, you had to avoid one. And I mean, I'll leave that to you. You guys can decide. Should they have done everything to try and move it around? Maybe move around some other events? Maybe just say to some players, you're going to need to make a choice, all this kind of stuff, because I think the viewership is going to be a little bit troubled by all of this. And yeah, like I said, not mad, just a little bit perplexed. Post what you think down in the comments. We'd love to hear from you guys. Of course, please be sure to jump onto facebook.com/duckville.casting, like the page, post some comments. I do need to update a couple of things on there as well. But anyway, thank you for watching. I'll catch you all next time.